Hi guys, Kimboy Lara here, and today we'll be talking about exposure triangle, the ISO, the shutter speed, and the aperture. If you want to have a delicious drink, let's say an orange juice, you need three things. You need the glass, you need ice, and you need the juice for it to work properly. It is the same as taking a picture. You need ISO, you need shutter speed, and you need aperture. Those are three main components if you want to take a picture using your camera. Now, we will talk about it one by one, and I will start with the shutter speed. If we talk about shutter speed, imagine this scenario. Shutter speed is how fast the mirror inside your camera move. When we use a high shutter speed, the picture or the image will be much in focus. For example, I have here a photo of running water. This running water was shot using a high shutter speed, meaning the flip of that mirror inside your camera is fast. This was shot at 1 and 160th of a second. So you can see that the water on this image is much in focus. It is clear, and the water looks like solid. It looks like crystal. It looks like it is frozen. Now on the opposite side, we lowered the shutter speed at 1 and 40th of a second. The first is 160, this one is 40. Look at the water. It looks very natural. It looks blurry. It looks like milky. So my explanation here is the shutter speed can freeze a running water if it is shot at a fast shutter speed. If it is shot on a slower shutter speed, the water will be blurry. So if you want to take a picture of, let's say, a running person, and you want to froze that action of them running, of course, you should use a higher shutter speed like 1 and 200 of a second. Because if you use 1/40th of the shutter on a running person, you will not take a clear image because it will be blurry. Their hands will be like this. See, you cannot. This is at shutter 50. So that's shutter speed. Higher shutter speed, you can froze your subject. Lower shutter speed, it will make them blurry. Now let's go to aperture. When we say aperture, I always think of a hole. Hole of the lens. Okay? This is a little bit confusing, huh? But stay with me. If you use a low aperture like 1.8, like this lens, 1.8, the hole will be big. See? It is big. When you use a higher aperture like 5.6, the hole will be much smaller. The lower the number, the bigger the hole. The bigger the number, the smaller the hole. It is called f-stops. This is a 1.8 f-stop, and this is a 5.6 f-stop. Now, what will happen if I open my aperture at 1.8? I have an example. This photo was shot on a 1.8 aperture. You can see the subject, which is the mouse, and then look at its background. Baliktad pala. Now, I show you a photo using a higher aperture, which is shot at 5.6. Look at the background. You can see a black line behind our subject, which is the mouse. The opening of the lens is small at 5.6, like this. What will happen if we open the aperture at 1.8? This will be the result. The background will be blurry. That is called bokeh, which we separate our subject from the background. This was shot at aperture 1.8. Look at that very creamy, buttery, blurry background. The subject in focus, which is the mouse, and look at the background. It is gone. So the aperture, it affects your background. That's how simple I can get. So we can go to the last section of this tutorial, which is the ISO. ISO for me is not as complicated as the aperture and the shutter speed. ISO is, we can say, fake light. I have here another example. This photo was shot using a lower ISO 100. The photo is dark. This is called underexposed. As I told you earlier, ISO is just fake light. We can add fake light in this photo. We will change this photo at ISO 100. We will change it at ISO 1000. Look what will happen to the photo. It becomes more brighter just by adding ISO. We are manipulating our photo, our exposure by just increasing our ISO. We did not change the shutter speed, we did not change the aperture, we just changed the ISO. Right? So that's it for me, guys. That is a short tutorial about ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. These are three basic but very important things to learn first if we are just starting photography. I hope this video helped you put together some ideas about the proper use of your camera. Photography is capturing light, and that light is called exposure. Exposure is measured through ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. That's why we need to know these three basic things for us to have a properly exposed photo. I think that's it for this tutorial. I'm sweating. So thank you for watching this video, and if you like this video, please hit that like button and then subscribe to our channel. I am enjoying making this video even though I am not fluent in English. My mother language or mother tongue is Tagalog. That's why I'm a little bit struggling, but I will continue making these tutorials so I can share my passion or hobby, which is photography. Okay? So you please hit that like button and then subscribe. I will go now. Peace.